Welcome to The Open Door. I'm your host, Sal, and I'm really glad you decided to step inside today. This podcast is built on a simple yet terrifying premise that we are better off when we stop performing and start being honest. This is a space for the frustrating or for your frustrations that keep you up at 3 a.m. and the feeling that you usually tuck away in a junk drawer of your mind and the sadness that the world often tells you to just get over it. But to walk through that door, you need something specific. You need trust. And I know when I say that word trust, it's a big word. We know what trust can do. We know a lot about it. And when we usually talk about trust, I want you to think of it like people usually think of it like it's a light switch. It's off or it's on. It's we say I trust them or I don't. But lately, I realized that trust isn't a switch. It's an architecture. It's something we build brick by brick, and unfortunately, it's something that can be dismantled just as slowly. So I want to really talk about why it's so hard to open up. The risk of being seen and how can we start building a foundation where being okay isn't the requirement for eternity, because if that's the case, it sucks. And I don't want to live this life if that's going to be my life for the rest of, for forever. If being okay is just okay. And it all starts with, I call it the fine mask. We wear this mask saying, I'm fine. How's work? I'm fine. How are you doing? Fine, fine. It's the ultimate barrier of trust. It's the polite way of saying, I don't trust you enough to tell you that I'm actually struggling. And look, I get it. Vulnerability is a high stakes game when you open the door to frustration, to any frustrations, whether you're feeling undervalued, you have that feeling of I'm feeling stuck. I just the feeling of exhausted. You are handing someone a map of your soft spot, and we stay guarded because we've all had that experience of being up and being met with that person who immediately tries to solve your problems so they don't have to sit in this discomfort of your sadness, or the person who doesn't know what to say so they just disappear, or the person who compares their life is way worse than yours is, so get over it. I get that. And we stay guard because we've all had that experience of opening up and being met with those people. When those things happen, we learn to keep that door locked, but here's the truth. Your frustrations are not a burden. They are your reality, and you cannot build a real connection with anyone, a spouse, a friend, or a teammate, if you're only showing them the highlight reels. I want you to think of trust like a blueprint. There's always a way to fix this. We can, by fixing the architecture, we can move towards, and it all starts with that self trust. Before you could trust someone else with your feelings, you have to trust yourself to feel them. And we often gaslight ourselves. We say, I shouldn't feel this way, or people have it harder. If you don't trust the validity of your own emotions, you'll never feel safe sharing them. You have to give yourself permission to be frustrated. You have to admit this hurts, or I'm angry about this. This is the first brick. You know, if that's the case, we can learn to handle trust by micro trust. You don't have to just throw that door wide open all at once. You can crack it open just a little bit. You can share small frustration. You see how the person on the other side handles that small piece of your heart. Trust is built in the smallest moment, the times we choose to turn towards someone instead of turning away. And I get it, we all can either lock that door and just hide behind it. But we think keeping things inside is a safe choice. We think that if we don't speak the sadness out loud, it doesn't have power. It it can't hurt us. It won't hurt us. But suppressed feelings don't just disappear. They change shape. We don't trust the people around us with our truth. And the frustration turns into resentment, and it turns into this sharp tone in your voice when someone asks a simple question. It turns into this heavy weight in your chest that makes you want to withdraw. Every time you stay silent about something that is hurting you, you're putting a brick in a wall between you and the world, and eventually you'll look around and realize you built a fortress. But you're the only one inside. And I get it. It's a survival strategy that we do. The energy it takes to keep the door bolted shut is way more exhausting than the effort it takes to turn the handle and let someone in. Uh, and it's our safe zone. But how safe can it be if we're just holding in our own deepest, darkest feelings of everything that has been drowning us from day to day, week to week, and we're just holding it in? It is so unhealthy. And I want to share a little side story of me. And I guess this is the reason why I'm doing this podcast about trust, and why I decided that I wanted to build this podcast was because I've been in those places, in the deepest, darkest places at times where I can't trust anybody. And it starts with, a lot of things with my family, and trust is one of those things. It is just really hard for me to do as well. But I've learned to open my door up a lot more, and that's why I decided to do this open door podcast, or do this podcast called The Open Door, because I really want to focus on letting feelings in, knowing that this is going to be a safe space to talk about feelings or how anything feels, any emotions whatsoever, anything that's been holding you up, or anything really, and yeah, I just wanted to share that little piece of why I wanted to create this whole podcast. But before I go, I want to let you guys know that it's okay. Everything's okay. And also, before I go, someone told me that they have this. They say they feel like they have to be the strong one for their family and their jobs, and they're tired. If that's you, you're the pillar everyone leans on. I hear you. That's lonely. That's a lonely kind of trust to carry. You trust everyone to rely on you, but you don't trust them to hold you up. So, you know what? I want you guys to challenge yourself. I want you to find one person and give them 10% of the version of the truth of you. Just crack the door. Tell them one thing that was hard today. Just tell them one thing that was hard today. I want to say thank you guys for spending time with me. Take a breath, trust yourself, and if you're ready, leave that door cracked just a little bit today. I'm your host, Sal, and this has been a great first episode of The Open Door. I will talk to you guys next time.